Hello again, hope you're well. A little more to update you on with what we've got on this DJ set. All of these tracks that are in dark grey, I have not only warped them and set them up, but I've also created different cues for those. So that means that there's some points at the beginning, middle and end of the song which are sort of set up, and I can show you what I've done with those, and that's really helpful if you want to mix tracks together. So for example, the beginning of this track Nucleus, if I show you the waveform of that has this massive long section of ambient kind of background stuff, and if I leap through that a little bit, you can see that the track itself builds at this point, and the clip, this first intro clip, it loops. That's this button here, signifies that's looping, and this brace here, that shows the actual looping section. So you'll see once the playhead goes into that section that it will loop back on itself. And the loop ends at 89 and jumps back to there. So that 89 point there, it's actually 89.3, is the start of the playback on the next clip, which is the main part of the track. So 89.3 there. That section there means that as soon as I hit this clip to trigger this clip, then it will carry on from where that loop left off, and that's the main body of my track. So not only can I just keep that intro section with a bit of life looping while I'm mixing this track into the previous one, I can also launch this one immediately without all of the long-winded intro if I feel like it instead. And the other thing is, once you get to the end of the main part of the track, I've got another loop which is just like a safety point, if you like. Which basically means that I can keep the last part of this track just running constantly, again, while I queue up the next one. And then once I've got my next track queued up, I can jump to the final part. And the end point of this loop is 232. I've triggered that clip, and that carries on from 232 all the way to the end. So it's really simple stuff, but what that does is provides you with a lot of security if you're in the middle of a mix, and like me, you're not a proficient DJ, but you've got some sort of safety loops, if you like. So I've done that for all of these tracks that are in dark grey. The other thing that I've done is had a quick mess with the EQ settings that I was using before. I'd actually made a bit of a mistake. What I was doing was cutting out the lows and the highs and then using these two frequency controls here as if this was like a high pass filter and a low pass filter. But what that does is actually cuts off some of the real bottom end and some of the real top end, even when you have these controls all the way down to the bottom. So I've set it up properly as a 3-band EQ now, so I've got control over each of these 3 frequencies on my MIDI controller. So it means that I'm using an extra dial, but it's no big deal. So I've done that for this first group and for the second group as well. So just as a quick example, so if let's launch this one. So again, this is my safety loop here. The intro comes in. And what I have been trying to do as well is set all these loops to be using the Complex Pro algorithm, which is a lot better at coping with slight mistimings. So that loop there is pretty clean. once I get to the end of this one, I'll trigger the main part of the track. And I go on the next loop. And I can start pulling in some of my manual drums. Mix in a couple of other bits and pieces just for fun.